if this game ends up going the distance here, simply because... Welcome to Inferno Pools, ladies and gentlemen, for what potentially might be the final game of this week's Hot Seat Tournament. We'll find out if the player spawning to the top left-hand corner can keep alive and take this to a games 8 and 9, losing the first 3 games and then winning the next 2, but now losing one more game to be on match point. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Team Liquid.net, it is Mana. His opponent spawning over on the top right-hand position on Inferno Pools, representing my insanity and playing as the yellow Zerg player. If he wins this game, he will have won 3 consecutive Hot Seat tournaments in a row, and as a result, his King of the Hill bounty increases to $375. But his job is not done yet. Let's see if he can pull it off. It's my insanity's Petraeus. Alright, so far this series, I almost feel like we can sum up whether or not Mana wins his games depends entirely on whether Petraeus holds off his aggression. We've seen games Mana loses, where he rushes his opponent in the early game. The rush doesn't work, he tries to come back, and he loses. That happened in that previous game as well with the 7 game. It happened in game number 1 with the Sentry Immortal. However, in games where he's been able to stop the counterattacks and just slowly build up, well, that's basically where he won both of his games. So it's a really, really sort of interesting kind of dynamic that the players have going on here. And I wonder what kind of approach Mana's going to be taking this time around, because I'm really worried that if he tries to go hyper-aggressive again, Petraeus has shown huge ability at just defending this kind of early game pressure that Mana's coming out with, and that worries me a little. Don't worry guys, this probe has actually scouted that the base is here. He's just going to be checking out this watchtower to see if there are any Zergy units kind of lurking about here, but there aren't going to be. Both players have scouted each other, and they've both gone for their natural expansions as we move into the early mid-game. All right. Whew. Well, this series has certainly been entertaining, and Mana has shown us that he can play some incredible games, but he is on the back foot at this point. There's no getting away from being on match point. He has to win 3 games in a row to dethrone Petraeus right now. And, you know, Petraeus can do it. And he's massive favorite to take this right now, but he can also lose it. And we've seen the games where Mana has won have also been the games where actually in the long run it's just been fantastic from Mana. There wasn't too much Petraeus could do to win those games. Mana just played really well. It's almost like someone just flicked a switch. So he needs it now, and he needs it for 3 more games. We'll see if that can happen. This Zergling, by the way, is the world's... Mothership Core, there we go. Gets a kill. Got him! I had that situation under control, guys. Don't even worry about it. Third base getting taken now for Petraeus, sub 6-minute mark. Reasonably big map and very open kind of areas. So in the early game, really frustrating for Zerg to deal with potentially these kind of harassments, because look at how massive this distance is, by the way. But also, in the longer run as well, being able to swarm around your opponent in a massive open area is exactly a Zergy kind of thing to do. So this potentially could favor Petraeus if Mana lets it, moving later on into the game as well. And oh no, is that... Yes, that Zergling is going to get a look in as well. We'll be able to spot both gases. We'll see that the Chrono Boost level is entirely full on this Nexus until it gets used once right now. And unfortunately... Oh no! And Mana falling apart a little bit. That is not good news at all. Managing to save all of his probes at the moment. I think Petraeus has killed 1 probe this game so far, but more and more Lings are unfortunately leaking into the main base. And are more going to come in? Yes, they are. This is disastrous for Mana. This is not what he wanted in the early game. Mana, we needed to summon his really, really scary inner child for the next 3 games. But right now, things are looking very dangerous for him in this game already. Losing the pylon there as well as the force field goes down. This is not ideal for him. He's on 47 to 61 supply. This game is not over. But this, perhaps, well, it's a little bit of a sign, really, that the pressure's getting to him a bit. He's now stemmed the flow. He's got the force field and he's got double zealots. He's got the probe there ready to put another pylon down to wall this off. But that was not how Mana envisaged starting this game at all. He is going to be kicking himself for allowing that to happen. And Petraeus has a little bit of a psychological advantage now. He's got a bit of an economical one as well, because he has, at the end of the day, killed 4 workers. It's 53 to 36 in that worker supply, but this might trigger Petraeus to go for a very, very early attack indeed. This Roach one, you can see researching that Roach speed, and he may well want to try and end this game a little bit earlier on, knowing that he has a bit of a bigger advantage going into the mid-game than usual. In the meantime, Mana trying to be extremely solid about this, going for that robotics facility. Wouldn't be surprised, perhaps, if he went for an Immortal before the first Observer as well, just to shore up any potential defenses against an incoming Roach attack, because 5 Roaches are already on the way. Petraeus wants to end this quickly indeed. Now, I think Mana can get right back into this game if he crushes this attack, but he really does have to crush it. An even trade, and Petraeus is still ahead here. Oh, so let's see. He's a little bit supply blocked at the moment as well. This squadron of Lings is moving out and about, and, well, at least the Zealot's going to be holding fast there. But, once again, while the army is out, Mana getting beaten up a little bit. I think he's going to have to use the recall. There's way too many units here, and Mana, once again, with a small number of units, perhaps overextending early on now. And, well, this can't be good news for him. I mean, he's in a completely passive position on 3 bases and an opponent who's knocking on his door with a large army supply. It's 62 to 29 in army supply right now, and he's saying, I don't even need to worry about your wall. I might take out the gateway. Petraeus could win the entire series right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to find out very shortly indeed. Well, I guess that can work. The warp gate goes down anyway, even though the force field is there shoring up. And now the Lings are trying to get in as well. The Roaches can just kill off a second warp gate if they wanted to at this point, to be perfectly honest. Enough sentries to try and use force fields for a while, but there's only so big a hole you can indefinitely plug. And Mana is reeling. He's got more pylons on the way, though. He's currently at 76 supply versus 144. That's the big issue. He's going to try and get back into the game with a warp prism. Now, this could work out really well for him. He will be able to separate units, for example, between these bases by force fielding off the ramp. But there is a large army that's already down the ramp, so I fear that's going to be enough. Ooh, now that... Okay, that's interesting. He's just straight up going to say, I'm expanding here. There's nothing you can do about it, so never you mind. But... did someone say Nidus? I know instantly we're like, oh yeah, Spire, Mutalisks, don't even worry about it, herpty-dirt. I want to see a Nidus in there, personally. Tunneling Claws is about to complete as well, and I feel like that's for this follow-up attack. I'm almost beginning to think that the base over there might not matter. Here comes one warp gate going down in the middle. Are we going to see force fields to plug the hole? Yes, we are. There's the burrow. And here's the burrow movement, ladies and gentlemen. The Zerglings are coming in as well. Petraeus wants to end this right here, right now. Here comes the unbar inside the main base. We're going to unbar the rest of the Roaches very shortly as well, moving to the other side of that Immortal. And the armies are fighting. There is no way Mana can avoid this confrontation any longer. Mana down to 64 supply versus 145. The Mothership Core is powerless right now, only pummeling a single Roach. GG, well played, and by a scoreline of 5-2 for a second week in a row, ladies and gents. My Insanity's Petraeus is going to be your king of the hill. That's 2 in a row, 5-2, and 3 in a row overall. Congratulations.